And now we're live, Mayor McFadden.
Very good. I call to order today's regular council meeting of the Township of Cavan Monaghan on this Tuesday, September 20th. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Before we begin, I'd ask that you share a moment of silence with us. On behalf of the Township of Cavan Monaghan, our council, staff, and residents, we would like to extend our deepest condolences for the British royal family on their immeasurable loss. We are deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. For most of us, Queen Elizabeth II has reigned for our entire lives. Her dedication and service to Canada will forever be part of the fabric of our nation. As a symbol of our respect, the flags across the township were lowered to half-mast Thursday, September 8th, and will remain lowered until tomorrow. We thank Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for her lifetime of dedicated service. Thank you. And with that, just a moment of reflection. Thank you, everybody. I'd ask now for an approval of today's agenda. Moved by Deputy Mayor Graham, seconded by Councillor Shaw. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes.
Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
And Councillor Shaw.
Yes.
Motion is approved. I'd ask any members of council to declare any pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof at this time or when the situation arises. Seeing none, there is no closed session, so we will start. First, I'd like to acknowledge the incredible accomplishment by several members of our local community, and that would be big congratulations on the Peterborough Century 21 Lakers on their fourth consecutive and 18th Mann Cup victory, which occurred this past week. And to acknowledge that, there's three individuals specifically. We have Turner Evans, who's not only a resident of our township, but also a volunteer firefighter out of Station 2. We have Yvette Hurley's father, Bill Joyner, who has been a chairman of the board for a long time for the Peterborough Lakers. And we have our very own Drew Hutchison, who works in Public Works as the Public Works engineering technician. So huge congratulations out to all of the Lakers, and especially those close to home, representing us all very proud on the national stage. So thank you very much. Next item is 7.1, staff recognition. Today's all about recognition. And with that, we have a list of significant time in years of service. So I would like to personally thank and dedicate for all their hard work and dedication to the township. We have Yvette Hurley, the Chief Administrative Officer, for 20 years. We have Bill Balfour, Fire Chief, 20 years. We have Ben Featherstone from Public Works, 20 years. Bruce Elliott, Public Works, 20 years. And our very own clerk, Cindy Page, for 15 years. So big congratulations and a round of applause. Thank you to all of you for all your hard work and years of dedication. Next up, we have our minutes. Item 8.1, minutes of the regular council meeting held September 6th. Motion to adopt those minutes. Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Huntley, Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Councillor Shaw.
Yes.
Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Mayor McFadden.
Yes.
And Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, 8.2, minutes of the special council meeting held September 13th. Motion for those special minutes. Councillor Shaw and Councillor Belch. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Councillor Shaw.
Yes.
Councillor Belch.
Yes.
And Mayor McFadden.
Yes. One moment, clerk. That's my final page. And I know there's more to come, so hold on one moment.
Yeah, we're just going to take a quick recess here. 1 minute.
All right, sorry about that. My pages were single-sided and I thought the agenda was on the back and it wasn't. So now I have it. We are ready to continue. Our next item is reports 9, report planning 2022-45 Plumpton zoning bylaw amendment. Ms. Ellis, this is the report that was before us previously, so it's back to council. So unless there's anything further for Ms. Ellis to add, I'd go to the recommendation.
There's through you, Chairman McFadden and members of council, there is nothing further to add. Staff do recommend approval of the zoning bylaw amendment.
Very good. Recommendation is before us, moved by Councillor Huntley, seconded by Councillor Belch. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Sorry about that. Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
and Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, report planning 2022-46, delegation of authority, official plan amendments and plans of subdivision. Mr. Conley.
Through your worship through you to council, you have before you plan report 2022-46, delegation of authority, official plan amendments and plan of subdivisions. 2 recommendations in this report. The council received report planning 2022-46, delegation of authority, official plan amendments and plans of subdivision for information. And that's 2 staff report back to council at a later time on the discussions with the County of Peterborough planning staff. In recognition of using more words than they needed to, what I would like to do is in the report itself, I gave some background talking about the resolution, why this is before council. Also gave some information with respect to the Ontario Planning Act, the provisions of that, and also the idea of what would be the role of the county, even if there was delegation to staying in, and then also outline some of the benefits and the idea that an MOU would be required in the situation where we would end up with delegation of authority with the county and the municipality. So unless there's some specific questions, I'm trying to keep it as brief as the report is not. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Conley. Excellent initiative. And certainly, I don't know whether it'll be this council or the next. We'll certainly look forward to those discussions coming back to council for further direction. Any questions from members of council? If not, I'll ask a question. Councillor Huntley.
Through you, Chair, I guess my only question would be, is there meetings actually on the schedule, like on the calendar with the county? Like, are they receptive to meeting with you? Is it a, we'll talk to you next year kind of scenario? Like,
No, through your worship to Councillor Huntley. No, we've had a couple of discussions in terms of initial ones. Myself and the CAO last year had one as initial one. What has taken a lot of time from the county and even for us as a township has been the approval of the new county OP, and we have meetings scheduled. So not only is the county planning staff receptive in terms of doing that now that that work is out of the way, but also with the idea of setting up some meetings to talk about what would be the right conditions and criteria in which to go forward. So yes, it's not just wishful thinking. It is something that there is certainly an openness to have a meaningful dialogue, and I think conditions have changed since this was first raised, and with the idea of the county OP in place and being able to go forward. So,
okay, excellent.
Very good. Councillor Huntley, would you be more comfortable if there was a date assigned to it, i.e. the end of the year?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Any other questions from members of council? Seeing none, then a motion to receive the report and accept the recommendation. Councillor Shaw and Deputy Mayor Graham. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
and Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Conley.
thank you, Councillor.
Next item, 9.3, Report Public Works 2022-19, Tower Hill Developments, Inc., Site Alteration Agreement, Tower Hill North. Mr. Hancock.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, through you to council, the recommendation before you is that bylaw number 2022-62 be approved to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the site alteration agreement between Tower Hill Developments Incorporated and the Township of Cavan Monaghan. And this is pre-grading of the Tower Hill subdivision adjacent to the municipal office.
Very good.
So,
Excellent. Any questions from members of council? Deputy Mayor Graham.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you. Wayne, just out of curiosity, has there been any follow-up with regards to, obviously this is good news from a standpoint that the grounds are being prepped, but do we have any sort of idea or any updates with regards to the timeline? Obviously, the primary concern being that auxiliary road that might be a necessity for the construction of the fire hall. Is this is a good sign getting closer to that, but has there been any update as to that information regarding this agreement?
Yes, through Mr. Mayor to the deputy mayor, we have had some conversations, of course, with the developer. They are actually closing tenders on the servicing of the subdivision today, this afternoon. And we are scheduling meetings in the next week to meet with the developer and look at this, the timelines. At this present time, they're proposing to start grading in October, probably run through to the spring of next year. And hopefully we'll follow up with servicing partially through the winter and into the spring. The only issue is the economic climate, and I think that's the one that sits with them on how house sales may go through into 2023. So at this present time, it's a little bit up in the air as far as the schedule of what we call Street B or Highlands, and that is the services for the fire hall. And we have in a draft plan condition that they will build that and as part of phase 1. And we're just waiting for them to get the go ahead on the actual putting pipes in the ground. So once we have that, we'll update council, of course, accordingly. Again, it's a little bit of it's just a case of making sure from the developer's point of view, the economic tides work and house sales are there. And if they are, I think we're good to go. If not, we may have to look at some alternate arrangements for the fire hall, but either way, we'll have it covered off.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further questions for Mr. Hancock? Seeing none, recommendation before us, motion to accept the recommendation. Deputy Mayor Graham, Councillor Shaw, Madam Clerk, record a vote.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
and Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Thank you, Mr. Hancock. Next item, report Parks and Facilities 2022-04, management and operation of the Cavan Monaghan Community Center concession booth request for proposal, PF 22-02. Allison.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The recommendation before you is that Council approve the management and operation of the Cavan Monaghan Community Center concession booth be awarded to Millbrook and District Minor Hockey Association. The financial impact, Millbrook and District Minor Hockey shall pay the Township of Cavan Monaghan 50% of all profits generated through the sales at the concession booth. All required financial documentation will be required quarterly. Funds received will be allocated under Operations Concession Booth Revenues GL. Further, Millbrook and District Minor Hockey Association recognizes it has an ongoing fundraising goal as established with the CMCC project. Millbrook and District Minor Hockey Association will dedicate 25% of their share of the profits towards achieving that goal. Payments will be required to be made to the Township of Cavan Monaghan on a quarterly basis. Funds received will be allocated under Operations CMCC Sponsorship GL.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Allison. Any questions from members of council? Not. Oh, go ahead. Deputy Mayor Graham, go ahead.
No, not a question, just a comment. Just very thanks for this. Obviously, Chris, it's great to have tenancy there, and it's great that minor hockey stepped up to provide this service to everyone utilizing the community center. I know it's been missed, but also I'm very happy to see the recognition of the fundraising commitment that minor hockey made towards the facility. It's I know it's been a tough few years, and they've been doing some great work supporting some other families that are going through some turmoil, but it's nice to see that it hasn't been forgotten and it's very much appreciated. So I wanted to make that statement. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions, comments? Councillor Belch?
Through you, Mayor, just wondering to Chris, I got the sense that the Pete's minor hockey collaboration went well. About when would it be expected as to how much did they garner in the way of support from the Pete's game?
Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Belch, I have not received any information on that yet, but I can pass it along when we do receive the information.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions, comments? If Councillor Huntley, go ahead.
Through you, Chair, I'm just curious with this agreement, Chris, are they only operating it while there is hockey on, or are they going to operate it while there's other events taking place at the CMC as well?
So there is other events going on. They proposed Monday to Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, and holidays, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So there is other user groups on the ice during those periods.
Okay.
There is men's leagues that are after 9 p.m., which concession booth does not get utilized that much for the men's leagues.
Okay.
Very good. Any further questions from members of council? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the recommendation. We have Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Shaw. Madam Clerk, record a vote.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Councillor Shaw.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next item, report corporate services 2022-18 new bingo hall proposal. Ms. Page.
Thank you, Mayor McFadden. Through you to the rest of the members of council, before you is Corporate Services Report 2022-18 with the recommendations. The council provides staff direction to support or not to support a new bingo hall in the township of Cavan-Monaghan at the existing facility of Kawartha Downs located at 1382 County Road 28 in Fraserville, and that council directs staff to continue to work with the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario representatives throughout the process on the future requirements and the conditions.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Page. May I suggest that we receive the report and accept the recommendation, providing direction that we do support the new bingo hall? Mover and seconder, Deputy Mayor Graham, second by Councillor Belch. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor, go ahead.
Nope, just a comment or a question for staff. It alludes to in the report about the opportunity for additional local charitable organizations to apply for the funding. Is the municipality going to play a role, and like how should we coordinate additional local entities becoming beneficiaries of that potential revenues should it all go forward?
Through you, Mayor McFadden, to Deputy Mayor Graham. From what I understand, there has been 3 charities that have been selected, but from what I also understand within the charities within our community, that they are willing to work together to ensure if this is a success and it does go forward and Alcohol and Gaming Corporation do support this bingo facility at this location, that at that time the other organizations would be able to also benefit from these events, from what I understand. I will be completely transparent as we go through this process with the Alcohol and Gaming Corporation. They have not implemented a new bingo hall in over 30 years. So we are working through this, but from what I understand, just those 3 organizations are not the only ones that are guaranteed that they will benefit from this.
So I guess it'll come back to council then at some point as to how, or if we're approached or members of council are approached by organizations, how to coordinate them for that process, should it all be successful?
Through you, Mayor McFadden, to Deputy Mayor Graham, I would say yes, and just direct them to me as it stands now. And as we work through this process with the Alcohol and Gaming Corporation, we will ask those questions to find out how everybody can benefit from the success if it is awarded for the bingo.
I wasn't sure if it was to you, Cindy, or to like Bridget or another department. So that's
I
all
would say through Mayor McFadden, Deputy Mayor Graham, start with me and I'll make sure it goes to the right people that it needs to go to make sure, because it might even actually be the owners of Kawartha Downs correctly. Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Councillor Huntley, go ahead.
Through you, Chair, to Ms. Page, I guess I'm curious about this, continue to work with the Lottery and Gaming Commission, like from a staff level, like how much staff time is required? Like I would have expected that the applicant themselves would be the ones working through all the AGACO, hoops and barrels and just kind of present you with what they require or need. Like I'm just, why are we fostering it, I guess is the question, and how much effort is it on our behalf?
So through you, Mayor McFadden, to Councillor Huntley, we're working closely with the AGCO staff as the legislation and the criteria is a little dated, and there's new ways to communicate the information. Where AGCO will come in now will be when we actually, if they approve the bingo hall. So we don't have the authority to actually approve the bingo hall. Council has the right to approve if you believe that it would be good benefit or would you feel beneficial to the township of Cavan-Monaghan to have that bingo hall here. Once AGCO does a regional review, then they come back to us and they say, or go back to the applicant and say, yes, you are an actual approved certificate of registration is what they actually have to acquire. Then I will go back and work with an AGCO representative to create a fair agreement that will be presented to council that we will then present to the owners to say, okay, if you want to run a bingo facility in Township of Cavan-Monaghan, these are the terms and conditions that you need to adhere to. These are how much it's going to cost to host event. This is, all of that fine detail. And the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, they have the staff that have the expertise to support us to be able to do that. So it isn't that we're facilitating any of this on behalf of the applicant. It's just from our perspective and Alcohol and Gaming Corporation, we have to work almost in partnership to go through to the end determination on if they're going to actually award this or not. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot more sense. Thank you, Ms. Page.
Very good. Any other questions for Ms. Page? If not, Madam Clerk, we do have a motion and a mover and seconder, correct? You're muted.
Charlie just said the same thing. Thank you. Our Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Belcher are mover and seconder.
Very good. Excellent. Without any further discussion, then I'd call for a vote. Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
and Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you.
is approved. Next item is 9.6, report CIO report and capital status. Ms. Hurley, any members of council have any questions with any of the items that are on our list?
Mayor McFadden, I don't believe we have any questions.
We do not. I'm just looking at the dates. The one that is itemized as summer of 2022, does that now mean fall? It's coming to the next meeting?
Actually, through you, Mayor McFadden, to council, I did speak to Mr. Conley on that, and he's going to give us a confirmed date after speaking with Ms. Hyatt.
Okay, very good.
But it's definitely obviously not coming at this time, and hopefully this fall it'll come forward.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Graham, I saw your hand.
Yeah, just a question. I was just more a confirmation of the dates because we had discussed them when Mr. Schmale came to council earlier about the conversation or I think it's more of a delegation with regards to the boundary adjustment. And I see that at the very bottom of your list. Is there a set date for that meeting or consultation yet?
Yes, we actually have been confirmed. So we, as of right now, Mayor McFadden and myself will be presenting.
Okay. And that is, the date is?
October, Cindy, you booked it, did you not? October 29th, I want to
Through
say.
you, Mayor McFadden, to Ms. Hurley, it's October 29th. It's a virtual
Okay.
session.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. But there would be a report coming back, I believe, probably to the next council meeting for discussion.
There would be after we have our.
Yes.
Yes, sir. That is
Very good.
correct.
Through you, Mayor
Ms. Page, go
McFadden.
ahead.
To you, just for clarification, the agenda will already be posted. So maybe what we'll do is just hold a placeholder that we can provide an update at the conclusion of your meeting, because that meeting is October 29th and this agenda will be posted for November 7th.
November 7th, yeah.
Yes.
No, sorry, I thought we're looking for council to actually provide some direction based on the fact information that's coming forward. So we're going to have this come before a council meeting prior to doing our presentation,
So you want this back for October 3rd?
right? Yeah, it needs to be. Right now, we have no direction from council. We just have direction to do a presentation placeholder with nothing to talk about.
So we'll draft a report through you, Mr. Chairman, to council. We'll draft a report and come back at the next one then.
Very good. To council, do you want, with this report, because it's very much political, are we looking for options or a recommendation from staff? Or an analysis, or just an analysis of what the current landscape is, and leave it to us to come up with our recommended approach. Mayor Graham, go ahead.
I think it would be helpful, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Mr. Schmale came, or when MP Schmale came, there was one map presented, but I think it was only one of three options under considerations, or it had evolved since then. I think as a minimum, we should have the various options under consideration or what the current iteration of what they're proposing is. And, and then maybe there was a pretty thorough discussion about the options or the priorities from council when MP Schmale was here. So maybe just a synopsis of that conversation and then to get clearer direction. I don't think there was much contentiousness to it, but yeah, I think there's a few different options to move forward that should be presented or at least discussed and highlighted to provide clear direction.
Very good. But to start to zone it in closer, is it fair to say only bring back options that's going to leave Cavan Monaghan whole?
Yeah,
That was the general consensus.
Through you,
Right?
Mr. Chairman, that was the consensus of council at the last meeting.
Excellent. That'll simplify it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, very good. Any other questions with regards to the outstanding action item list? If not, just a motion to receive that. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
and Mayor McFadden.
Yes, motion is approved. Madam Clerk, I didn't include it in the motion, but the understanding is this is coming back to the next meeting. The federal boundaries.
Through you, Mayor McFadden, I would say that Ms. Hurley, I believe that's what she just confirmed. Ms. Hurley, can you just?
Yes, that's correct. As I mentioned, I'll come back with the next report for the next meeting. It'll outline the options, keeping us as clearly as a whole municipality, and probably make a recommendation within that as a staff report.
Perfect. Very good. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Next item is Council Committee verbal reports. Do we have any updates? Councillor Belch.
Not at this time.
Councillor Shaw. Any updates from our OEMC?
This is a surprise. No.
it was a fantastic convention. Myself, Councillor Shaw, Councillor Huntley attended, and it was, as usual, there's usually sessions going on simultaneous, upon which that we had to divide up and conquer in order to attend each of them. So once again, very impressed. It is probably the best conference that we annually are able to go to, and hopefully the next council will recognize the importance of these conferences and continue that. I know we certainly bring back lots of valuable information, and we'll go from there. Councillor Huntley.
Yes, it was a great conference. Maybe next time we can charter a helicopter to get us there rather than drive, but yeah, it was a great conference overall. I guess other than that, October 1st is the Millbrook BIA Fall Fair. I hope everybody can make it out to that and enjoy the festivities of the fall.
Very good. Excellent. And Deputy Mayor Graham.
Millbrook Valley Trails meets next Monday, but I did have an update on Sunday. I was able to attend the EOETA 2022 firefighter recruitment graduation. It was the first time back in class training. They had to do a couple of years of not in class training due to COVID, obviously, but it was, so first of all, we should congratulate our recruits, Lauren DeFilippis and Mark Grunenberg, who will be joining our volunteer service. So congratulations to them, but congratulations to all the graduates for their commitment to serving their communities in the fire service. So it was a very well attended and a very happy event for everyone to be recognized in there. It was just a great event. So kudos to everyone involved and welcome to our new volunteer recruits.
Very good. Well, very well said, Deputy Mayor, and a thank you on my behalf for going to represent our township in that ceremony, which is very important. So thank you very much from all of us. And myself, we have our next library board meeting tonight, so I do not have an update, but I will have one for the next meeting. I get a motion to receive those verbal updates. Deputy Mayor Graham and Councillor Shaw. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
and Councillor Belch.
Yes.
Very good. Motion is approved. Sorry. No general business, no correspondence for information. Any correspondence for action? Anybody wishing to come forward? Deputy Mayor Graham, go ahead.
Sorry, it should have been listed under general business, but and I could have, I guess, included it in my verbal report. But I just wanted to recognize and thank our friends from County Cavan for visiting us last week while most of council was away at the OEMC conference. Myself and several members of our staff hosted the Mayor John Paul from County Cavan in Ireland, who was over on some other business, and he and his wife and his CAO and his wife stopped by, and we had a lovely lunch and discussed municipal politics and the various challenges that are common to us and the different structures and how things are done. It was a really pleasant event, and they are on a bit of a roadshow tour supporting a 2023 event called Cavan Calling, in which they're inviting all of individuals across the country and across the world, really, who have an affinity or some sort of lineage to Cavan and Ireland to come back and join them in a long series of events throughout the 2023 season, including markets and things of the like. So just, it was a really pleasant day. Nice to meet, individuals that, were a big part of where a lot of our history is from. And we showed them the community center, which they were very delighted by. We got a few photos on the Zamboni machine that they were very interested in and very proud of. It didn't get any ice time in, but they were fairly cold by the end of that tour. But it was a really pleasant exchange and lovely and a very special experience for myself. And I know some members of staff to be able to meet and host some international delegates, which hasn't happened in quite some time. So just a really pleasant event. And I wanted to thank them all for making the effort to come and see us. And hopefully we'll be returning the favor in the future.
Very well said, Deputy Mayor Graham. And yes, it was unfortunate that most of council was away for that delegation to come here, but thank you very much for staying back at home and ensuring that they were greeted officially. And a big thank you to all of staff for organizing all of the events for the day and the various tours, everything from the highlights of our wastewater treatment plant and the gift shop, all the way to our CMCC. I'm sure everybody had a wonderful time. So thank you to yourself and to all of staff. So if there's no other correspondence for action, I will get into the bylaws. That bylaw number 2022-59 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of CCDC2 stipulated price contract 2020 for the new fire and ambulance station between the Corporation of the Township of Monaghan and Gay Company Limited, and bylaw number 2022-60 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an engineering agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Monaghan and Greenview Environmental Limited for the fire station number 1 TFD 22-01 and bylaw number 2022-61 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2018-58 as amended, otherwise known as the Township of Monaghan zoning bylaw 16 Frederick Street, Millbrook, and bylaw number 2022-62 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site alteration agreement between Tower Hill Developments Inc. and the Township of Monaghan. Be read a first, second, third time. Signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the corporate seal attached thereto. Moved by Madam Clerk, seconded by
No,
Madam
Mayor
CIO.
McFadden. I just needed to provide the clarification that we did need to make a change to the bylaw 2022-61. Give me 1 second. No, 2022-60, that it will read Greenview Environmental Management Limited. We missed the word.
That's what I read. Yeah.
Okay,
No?
we're good now. We're good now.
Oh, we're good
Perfect.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I just wanted
All
to
right.
make sure that that was included. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so you are not moving it, and the Madam CEO is not seconded. We have Deputy Mayor Graham moving it, and we have Councillor Shaw seconding it. Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham.
Yes.
Motion is approved. There is no unfinished business. Any notices of motion? Oh, you scared me there, Deputy Mayor. You had the hand going up, and I'm like, this is going to be a surprise. Okay, all right, no notices of motion. Okay. Confirming bylaw being bylaw number 2022-63 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the meeting held September 20th, 2022. Be read a first, second, third time, signed by the mayor and the clerk, and the corporate seal attached there. Moved by Councillor Shaw and Councillor Huntley. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
Councillor Huntley,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
and Councillor Shaw.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Huntley, Councillor Belch. Madam Clerk, recorded vote.
Deputy Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Shaw,
Yes.
Councillor Belch,
Yes.
Mayor McFadden,
Yes.
and Councillor Huntley.
Yes.
Upcoming events, we do have tonight's library board meeting at the Millbrook Library starting at 7 o'clock in person. Millbrook Valley Trails Advisory Committee meeting Monday, September 26th at 5 p.m. via Zoom. We have Municipal Revitalization and Heritage Advisory Committee meeting Thursday, September 29th at 9 a.m. via Zoom. Regular council meeting next one is October 3rd, 2022 at 1 p.m. And Councillor Huntley, there was another one that you were going to add on there, October 1st, I believe.
Yeah, it's not really, that's an event. So yeah, the Fall Festival is October 1st.
Very good. Excellent.
Noon till 6.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.